Hi YouTube! NHL All-Star event. It will be a 2-week event when we have 5 new MSPs, plenty of new cards, and a lot of content to go through. Before we jump into the video, if you could like and subscribe, it really helps me a lot. I do appreciate all the love you guys are showing me on YouTube. I'm also live on Twitch 5 days a week, so if you want to see me playing NHL 23 live or just want to hang out in the chat or have any content questions, make sure you stop by. Okay, let's jump into the video and have a look on the All-Star event, cards, objectives, and everything you need to know. Okay, the first things first. As always, we have objectives, so we have All-Star objectives where we have to use the All-Star players, it doesn't matter if it's MSP or any other card, and play the game, so it will give us total enough collectibles to make one of the MSPs for free. Again, it's probably, you can do it in a day, technically you can just grind all the games. If you stack your team, it says 600 games, but technically, if you have 2 All-Star players, then you only need to play 300 games. If you have 3 All-Star players, you only need to play 200 games, and so on and so on. So, again, maybe don't rush and make the MSP straight away. If you complete all of these objectives, let's say this weekend, keep the collectibles and wait until the week 2, because there will be new MSPs coming out next Friday. Also, I have an All-Star challenges, so you play 5 teams, you get coins, then you get the event collectible, season collectible pack, and then you get 3 gold players and event collectible. So technically you get another 2 collectibles for free. The reason why it's 2, you can actually trade in 2 collectibles for a random MSP, and with completing the objectives you can power up the MSP to the 92 overall. So if we go to the sets and what I was talking about, so by completing the challenges you get 2 collectibles and you can get yourself a random MSP, and then by grinding the objectives you get enough collectibles to upgrade it up to the 92. These are the MSP sets. If you want to choose the specific MSP and you don't want to do the random, then it will cost you 3 collectibles instead of 2, but at least we have an option again, and I like what EA is doing, is giving us something for free for just playing the game. But again, it's not as so easy as it sounds, because technically if you don't have a coins, it's very difficult to get All-Star players without buying it. You can be lucky and pull them in the packs, but the cheapest All-Star player is around 80k. There is not really easy way to stack your team with them and actually complete the objectives very quickly. So what I'm saying, it does look easy, but actually without coins it's quite difficult. Or maybe if your pack luck is very good, then you also can do it. Again, so these are the all the sets, so we can trade in 89 overall and get 7 collectibles. To fully upgrade one MSP you need 47 collectibles, so that's something just to keep in your mind. How many players would you need? For an 88 you'll get 6 collectibles, for an 87 you will get 5, and for an 86 you will get 3 collectibles. The market is quite broken. I will actually say then, for people who didn't made any Team of the Year cards because they were super expensive, this is a really good event because market is very cheap, well, not gonna lie, and this is very cheap way of actually getting a good team. Okay, for people who are new to the Ultimate Team or don't know what the All-Star event means, it's actually a really fun event, because if you get one of these 87s and when you watch an All-Star game, skill competition or just an All-Star games, in general it will be very fun event because these cards will upgrade based on their performance. Again, the maximum upgrade can be 92, so none of these cards will go up more than a 92 overall. So if you think you will just go and buy them in auction house, just be mindful, then there will be only 2-3 games, I think, and these cards will actually not explode and will not be like 92 overalls, all of them. There will be maybe 1 or 2 cards only. The rest of them probably will be around 88, 89. So if you pull them on tradable, I say it's a good thing, because it may help your team, it may also help the future sets, but I don't think the cards are actually worth the value people are trying to sell them in an auction house. So the card will go up by 1 overall for every goal scored in an All-Star game. They only play 2 games, so keep that in mind. And it will go +4 overall for 2 goalies in the final winning teams. Okay, let's now talk about the MSPs. I will really try to run through all the cards as quickly as possible because there are so many, and most of them have the same attributes, so there is really nothing to talk about. It's a different player, but most of them have the same synergies, same superstar and zone abilities. So one of the MSPs is BLAYRE, TURNBULL. Actually not a bad card, well, not gonna lie. If I would need to rank her, she would probably be the number 5 because she's the smallest, but I think with giving her Gold Unstoppable Force is a good thing, so it just makes that the female player is now more valuable. Also, she had really decent speed. If you activate Wingman and Spark, she also have a Workhorse and she also have a Flight Zone. You can get her up to the 95 speed. The body checking is 99, so actually I think it's a really good fun card to try and use. She had a close quarters, she had elite edges, and she had no contest. Non-contest I tried on Matthews. really don't like it, but Unstoppable Force is really a good one. Next one is Joe SAKIC. They just always make SAKIC cards good. He's a good winger. I probably would use him on a wing because of his size. He had Bombarded and he also had the Booming Shot. He had Gladiator and he had the Thief if you want to use him in the center. He had Make It Snappy, Quick Draw, so really valuable superstar ability if you use him in the center. Snipe, not really, but he had Elite Edges, which makes the card quite good if you activate it. And again, only if you use this card in the first two lines. If it's the third liner, you probably will never have enough ability points to activate any of his superstar or zone abilities. His speed is 91, so he's not the fastest, but like, I think he would really be good for a third line if you have a stack team. But if you're just starting the ultimate team, then this is a very cheap version how you can stack your first two lines, because this card is really good. Look at the shooting hands and other stats. Body checking is low, but you know, you don't have Joe SAKIC on your team for a body checking, you probably have him for his hands. NICKLAS LIDSTROM, again, quick pick, stick him up, seeing eye and elite edges. He had really good synergies. He had a Bombarded, Light the Lamp. He also had Warhorse and he had Wingman. He had a good speed. The card in general is really good, and I think he's a very cheap option of having a very good left-handed defenseman, but I still think his power-up icon is much better than even this MSP. But because how expensive the power-up icon is, I just think then for people who are fan of NICKLAS LIDSTROM, and I am, so I might actually try this card out. I think it's a good alternative if you cannot afford his power-up icon. Wayne Simmonds wearing a Warrior gloves. I just like it. Actually very surprised to see Wayne Simmonds card. Something you can actually use. He had Truculence, he had Big Tipper, he had Total Eclipse, and he had Close Quarters. This card is nasty, well, not gonna lie. He had Buzzing, Dangle City, he also Magician, and he had Wingman, so he had a body checking without any synergies being activated, already 99. His hands are good. Skating is decent. Just in general, the card is good. And I think what makes this card really valuable is the zone and superstar abilities. So I did a random MSP set. I didn't have him, but I may just make him with the 3 collectibles because I think he could be a really decent replacement for Zibanejad, who I'm planning to remove from the team this weekend. And the number 1 MSP in my opinion this week is Ryan Johansen. He had Tape to Tape. I personally love it. I know you guys don't like to use it, but again, this is just a video for casual players who just want to get familiar with the players, cards, and just to hear my opinion. So I like Tape to Tape and I like to activate it when I can. Third, I really don't see it valuable. Big Rig, it's a good one, but if you had this Unstoppable Force, I don't really see why you would need to activate Big Rig. He had Distributor, he also had Warhorse, he had the Buzzing, and he also had Fly the Zone. He will be my 4-line winger for sure, because I just think that I can use this card in the center if I want because of his size, and with all the female Team of the Year cards I currently have in my team, I just think I really need someone who is quite bigger, because unfortunately the females are smaller than the guys, and I just think putting, let's say, Murray Phillips with Ryan Johansen in one lineup would make a really big difference. Okay, now let's go through all the 87 overall cards. MATTY BENIERS. This is an exception for EA. They never actually add a card for someone who don't have a headshot. They did make an exception. They also tweeted out that this is the only exception they ever made and probably will never make it again. So it means, guys, if the guys don't have, like, if the players don't have the headshots in the game, doesn't mean that EA now will start to give the cards to every single one. He had a well-rounded, he had the Protector, like his zone and superstar abilities are quite good. For 87 card, the card in general looks anyway decent. I think for people who really wanted to use his card, it's a really good time to try him out. Again, they're quite expensive, so I would say if you don't pull them in the packs, I don't really see the reason why you should buy it, as far as he's not your favorite player. Sid the Kid, actually quite decent card. Buzzing, Warhorse, Elite Edges, Unstoppable Force. I like that they're giving more Unstoppable Force to the players. Again, you can probably even use him. It's a very usable card. He had 90 speed if you activate the synergies. The hands in general are good for 87 overall, so also let you know, guys, what I think. I don't think CROSBY will go up, because he may be in the winning team, but like, he's scoring a lot of goals. Quite a lot of guys who probably will perform better than CROSBY. Leon Draisaitl. I have a feeling we have so many Draisaitl cards this year. Like, he had a quick draw, so you can use him in the center. He had Tape to Tape, and he had Third Eye. Quite weird superstar and zone ability combo, so If it would be up to me, I think there are better cards for Leon Draisaitl out there. He may score a few goals, so potentially this card can go up to the 89, maximum 90. So again, if you pull him, I would probably hold him because, you know, don't put him in a set straight away. Kevin Fiala, again, make it snappy, unstoppable force and elite edges. I have a feeling like every single card now have elite edges or unstoppable force because EA finally realized what are the OP superstar and zone abilities and they are just handing them out to every single player. He had Thief and he had Apple Sauce. Again, not a bad combo, but in general the card is nothing really special, at least in my opinion, as far as he's not your favorite player. Size is decent, but I just think there are better cards out there. Adam Fox, for someone who is a Rangers fan, I think they made him really bad. I'm not gonna lie. He had a booming shot, he had tape to tape, he had heat seeker, and he had stick him up. Not a bad card, but I think there are better Adam Fox cards out there as well. As a defenseman, I think he had a really good chance to score a goal, maybe two, because it's Adam Fox and he scores quite a lot of goals. But again, he will definitely not be a 92 overall card, at least if miracles don't happen. Johnny Gaudreau, I don't even think he needs to be here. I don't think he's an all-star anymore, with at least how he plays in Columbus. He had booming shot, he had gladiator, he had third eye, he had tape to tape, and he had elite edges. It's like I said, guys, these superstar and zone abilities are at most copy-paste. Not a bad card, but very small. I think they're much better cards. Even the female players are probably more valuable than Johnny Gaudreau. Kevin Hayes, again, he had close quarters, that's something new. Tape to tape and quick draw. Not a bad card. If you activate the synergies, you can use him in a center, but his speed is quite low, so I think there's faster players out there. So because he's quite big, he's valuable, but other than that, outside of close quarters, there is really nothing to say, yes, I want to use this card. Okay, our first goalie. So the synergies really don't matter, it's just if you want to boost any of your other synergies. He had post to post and he had light work. He had 87 speed, 70 aggression, and rebound control 89. I think there are better goalies in this all-star event, and we will go through them. His size is good. We all know that the bigger goalies perform better than the smaller, but I personally think that he probably is not one of the guys you should buy, and I don't think he will go up by 4. But again, it's an all-star event, and you never know what's gonna happen. Bo Horvat, again, does he really need to be here? But if he's here, then probably he deserves to be here. Close quarters, born leader, unstoppable force, really good synergies and superstars ability combo. I think the card in general is good, but his speed is nothing really. I don't think this card will go up, so probably I would not invest and buy him, and if I would have him in a choice pack, I will also not choose him. Jack Hughes, love when they give him a card. I think this guy will go up at least by 2 or 3 overall, so if you can pull him, it's quite a good. He had Distributor, he had Gladiator, he had Elite Edges, he had Unstoppable Force, and he had Wheels. Again, I think this is a really decent card, and with going up by 2 by 3, I think this will be a valuable card. And if I would be able to pull him, I probably would keep him and after use him my 3rd and 4th line. Seth Jones. As a defenseman, not a bad card, but again, I think there are better cards. With the 87, he had 88 speed, he had a 91 body checking, his hands are not bad, but again, I think there are better defensemen out there. Also don't think he will perform very good in the all-star event, so I don't really believe in this card will go up by much, if any at all. He had Seeing Eye, which is very effective this year, but I don't think we have any of the defensemen with the gold Seeing Eye, so that's something I would like to try out, just to see what the difference is between the silver one. NAZEM KADRI. This is a fun card, we're not gonna lie, because of the gold truculence. Every card with the gold truculence is just more valuable than any other cards, because the gold truculence is just OP this year. He had close quarters and he have ankle breaker. Well, I know what he did there with an ankle breaker. This is a fun card. Again, actually, I believe he may score a few goals and perform in all-star skill competitions as well. So if you pull the card, just keep it for a while, because I think it's not a bad shot to give him a try. And then we have Kirill the Trill, or Kirill Kaprizov as people call him in real life. He had Protector, he had Thief, he had Unstoppable Force, he had Third Eye, and he had Elite Edges. Decent card, very good speed, very good hands. Obviously the body checking is not very good because he's very small. But other than that, I think he's another card who can probably go up by 1, 2, or maximum 3. Again, you never know. Like, this is an all-star event, so everything can happen. Like, no one expected Cairo to be the fastest skater last year, so who knows what's gonna happen this year. But in general, like, Kirill Kaprizov had a good shot on going up. ERIK KARLSSON. This is probably the first defenseman I will say, then yes, I believe then this defenseman will go up. First of all, we know how he performs in his season this year, but again, in even 87 overall, he already had 90 speed. He had unstoppable force, he had elite edges, and he had hook on string. And in general, the card is quite good, so again, this card, in my opinion, may go up. CLAYTON KELLER. Very surprised to see him here, but in the end of the day, he's performing very good in Arizona this year, so why not? He had Gladiator, he had Light the Lamp, he had elite edges, wheels, and unstoppable force. It's like everyone have unstoppable force in this event. Again, decent speed, pretty similar stats to the Kirill Kaprizov, so really nothing to talk about. I think both cards had a good chance of scoring goal or two, and never know what's gonna happen. Nikita Kucherov, he had unstoppable force, he had third eye, and he had elite edges, he had Gladiator, and he had a booming shot. I think this is probably a very decent card. Like, if you activate all his synergies, he's very valuable already, and I'm using his 90 overall prime time in my forward line, and I actually think that this card looks very good, so if he scores 1 or 2 goals, it may have a better stats than his prime time. At least the abilities are much better. Dylan Larkin, didn't have a chance to try Dylan Larkin's card this year. I know a lot of people use his X Factor and he's good. He had Gladiator, he had Thief, he had Elite Edges, Quick Draw, so you can use him in the center, and he had Wheels. Wheels is very expensive, so I probably would not activate Wheels on 87 overall card, but if he goes up, then he's worth a shot. And again, like, even at 87, he had decent speed, decent acceleration. All the stats in general are quite good outside the slap shot accuracy and wrist shot accuracy, but you know, it's an 87 overall card, but he had a very good chance to go up. Nathan MacKinnon. What can I say about Nathan MacKinnon after using his Team of the Year card? He had Unstoppable Force, he had Wheels, and he had Born Leader. I would like to have these abilities on his Team of the Year player, to be honest, but like, in general, he's a really good card. He had a nice speed, he had nice shooting, and I think he also had a very good chance of going up. So if you didn't had his X Factor or his Team of the Year card or any other of his high overall cards, then I think this is a very good shot of grabbing Nathan MacKinnon, because pretty much this card, I would say, may be a guaranteed 90 plus overall. Cale Makar. I have a feeling we have so many Cale Makar cards, but it's nice to see that he's getting to the All-Star, because he 100% deserves to be there. He had Thief, he had Light Lamp, he had Elite Edges, Wheels, and Stick Him Up. Very decent card. Look at the speed. Like, obviously we know the Cale Makar is one of the fastest guys in the league, but in general I think it's a really good card to use. His body checking is very low, and there is no any synergies you can boost that up, but you never know. If he goes up, they may add a second synergy slot, and the card may be really valuable. Mitch Marner. We got Magician, Gladiator, Unstoppable Force, Tape to Tape, and Elite Edges. Really, outside of shooting stats, nothing decent about the card. I think there are much better cards out there. He may go up, but I think there are better right wingers in this event, so as far as you don't pull him on tradable, or you're not Maple Leafs or Mitch Marner fan in general, then I don't really see any reasons why you would need to get this card. And because he's so small, it's every year Mitch Marner's card, whatever event or whatever card it is, it just plays so weak. Like, it's being so easily bumped up the puck. He's like Patrick Kane or Panarin. Auston Matthews. Shock and Ave, Skilled Up, and Make It Snappy. This is probably one of the worst superstar and zone ability combo, but I know why they make it, because it really matches how he plays in real life. He also had Spark, and he had Dangle City. I just think that there is better Matthews cards. This reminds me like his X Factor, and I don't really understand why they always give him so bad zone and superstar abilities. But again, this is a nice option of how to get Auston Matthews card if you don't have his X Factor or his Team of the Year, because I'm 95% sure that this card will go up. And then we have Connor McDavid, Thief, Light the Lamp, Puck on String, Ankle Breaker, and Wheels. Nice to see Wheels back on McDavid. His Team of the Year card don't have Wheels, but his X Factor does, so I think that's why the X Factor is more valuable. And I at least enjoy his X Factor more than I'm enjoying his Team of the Year, to be honest. Again, like, nothing really to talk about. Skating, incredible. Shooting, incredible. hands, and all the stats are very good. So it's a very usable Conor McDavid with all the superstar abilities. Also, the synergies are not bad, so really good shot. And we all know that Conor McDavid will do something, so this card will go up. Then we have left defenseman Josh Morrissey. Really nothing to talk about. I don't see, outside of slapshot power, there is nothing really incredible about this card. If you activate the synergies, you get a slapshot and wrist shot power up by 4 and 2. That makes the card quite valuable as a defenseman, but I think we have a better defenseman in this event particularly. But again, it's a really easy way because these cards have zone abilities and superstar abilities. If you pull them on tradable or somehow pull them in rewards, then these cards are quite valuable. And I remember last year when almost everyone had these all-star cards because EA is juicing packs and there is a lot of all-star players in the packs. You probably could make yourself a full team after all the rewards later next week. Brock Nelson. Surprised to see him here. He had Thief, he had Heart and Soul, he had Big Rig, he had Snipe, and he had Make It Snappy. Don't really have anything to say about the card. Don't think he's really valuable. His size is valuable, but you can use him on a face-off. But other than that, like, I don't really... maybe just because I'm not a fan of the superstar and zone abilities, but I would probably just skip the card, and I don't really think he will go up, but again, who knows? And then we have Alex Ovechkin. He had Close Quarters, he had Make It Snappy and Shock and Aim. He had Wingman and he had Distributor, so you can get his speed up to the 88. He had a decent body checking, hands and shooting, so really good. So again, very usable Alex Ovechkin card if you don't have his X Factor or his Milestone card, for example. Artemi Panarin. This probably may be the Panarin I may try and use. He had Applesauce, he had Thief, he had Unstoppable Force, and that's the reason why I'm saying he's usable, because Panarin is so easily being banked up the pack every single time, and I think Unstoppable Force for Panarin may make a difference. But again, I need to try before I say. Really good card, really usable Artemi Panarin, may score a few goals and may go up, but again, this is like a gamble, so you really don't know what's gonna happen, but in general I think the card is pretty decent. We have David Pastrnak, again, really good David Pastrnak's card. We have Protector, we had Light the Lamp, Elite Edges, Shock and Ave. All the stats are incredible, so I don't see any reasons why this card would not go up, because Pastrnak in general is performing very good. And before we see this, what will be the rules about the skill competition, I think he may be in the winning team for sure, as a right-handed winger. Then we get Elias Pettersson. Outside of Unstoppable Force, really don't see anything good about the card. He had speed, but he's really small. Unstoppable Force may make this card valuable, and I think this is the best Elias Pettersson card we have. If I'm wrong, let me know down in the comment sections below. But again, I don't really think this card... I personally don't think this card will go up a lot. Mikko Rantanen. Everyone likes Mikko Rantanen, and having Mikko Rantanen with Unstoppable Force, it's quite good. Card in general looks probably same as every other card I just went through. He is big and his speed is decent for his size, but I think there probably is better cards out there even for Mikko Rantanen, but he may go up because he's just performing very well, and Mikko Rantanen somehow always find a way to score and do something. So in All-Star event, these cards go up. Jason Robertson, even if you activate all the synergies, because he don't have any speed synergies, he had Shock and Aim, and Make It Snappy, and he have Snipe. This is really awful synergy and superstar and zone ability combo. Speed, you cannot probably even use him in the fourth line. I know a lot of people think that speed is not important. Speed is important even if in your fourth line. In a center maybe the speed isn't, but like I don't really like this card. There is nothing outside of hands and shooting, but like this card will probably never catch anyone. But he's performing very good, so if it goes up, we need to see, then maybe the speed may go up to the 88, 89, who knows. And we have Juuso Saros, a goalie with 93 speed, 92 aggression, rebound control, decent. What I don't like about the card is because he had post to post and butterfly as a superstar ability, and his zone ability is light work. Also, he's small, so I don't really have a lot of faith in this card because we have plenty of small goalies, and let's be honest, like they all perform really bad. Again, okay, it's not about the size in general, but just the goalies are really crap this year. So until they fix it, or until something changes or the new game comes out, it doesn't really matter who you put in the net, in my opinion. Next one is Igor Shesterkin. I like that they're giving him gold post to post, but he's still small. His Team of the Year card is now my backup goalie because he just lets in every single shot, and I don't really have any faith in him anymore. But maybe when he will go up and his stats and attributes will go up, I will try him again. Regards performance, Shesterkin have a really good chance by going up. So if you pull him and you don't have a goalie, or even if you don't want to use him in your net, it's a really good chance to keep him, and this card will go up, so you can after trade him in any of the sets for extra collectibles. Okay, Stuart Skinner, nice to see a goalie from Oilers being in an all-star event. He had decent synergies, he had decent zone abilities, all of them are like quite usable this year. He had 90 speed, which is usable, 84 aggression and 87 rebound control. Those are probably, in my opinion, three the most valuable and needed attributes this year. His size is decent, so well, not gonna lie, I would like to try the card out because just how big he is. Then we have Ilya Sorokin, one of my favorite goalies this year. I use his 88 primetime for a very long time, and I think he's the best goalie I used so far. He had the decent synergies, he had butterfly, superstar ability, and light of work. But his zone ability, not a big fan of it. He had 90 speed, had 69 aggression, and 89 rebound control. In general, the card is not bad. If you don't activate any zone and superstar abilities, I would give him a try because also he had a very good chance of going up. Then we have Nick Suzuki. He had distributor, he had flight zone. You can get the card up in speed quite a lot. He had quick draw, so you can use him in the center, and gold quick draw is very valuable. He had unstoppable force and elite edges. Actually a really fun card in my opinion to try out. Then we get Andrei Svechnikov with Warhorse and Buzzing, Unstoppable Force, Elite Edges, and Skilled Up, which is quite a weird combo for me to see, but okay. Again, don't really think he will go up. There is nothing really extreme or decent about the card. In general, I think there are better Svechnikov cards out there, and I don't think he will perform anywhere to go up and be usable so he can stay in your lineup. Then we have Vladimir Tarasenko. Really always enjoy Tarasenko cards because how big he is. He had Gladiator, he had Bombarder, he had Unstoppable Force, Tape to Tape, and he had Make It Snappy. Make It Snappy, don't really see any value out of this superstar or zone ability, but his skating is decent, shooting is decent, and in general the card is quite good. How he performs, we need to wait and see. He probably may end up by 88, something like that. Troy Terry, probably the cheapest all-star card, at least that's what I saw in the auction house. He had a Thief, he had Dangle City, he had Make It Snappy, he had Close Quarters, and he had Snipe. I just think there are better cards in this event, and I don't really believe that he will do anything phenomenal, so this card will probably not go up at all. But again, who knows? Before we see, it's a gamble, so if it's only like, if you pull him in a pack, I would just say, guys, like, if you pull any of these all-star cards in the packs, rerolls or whatever, don't sell them or just keep them until the all-star event starts, because you may actually win and get a high overall card without actually knowing it. Then we had Tage Thompson. Tage Thompson, any card is good. Tage Thompson probably will score the most goals in an all-star game, and this card will be a 92 because it's a Tage Thompson and he's just unstoppable. I think this year he had decent synergies, he had Close Quarters, he had Elite Edges, and he had Poke and String. I cannot wait when this card will go up because I don't really see a reason why he will not perform in his best as he's doing now. You can use him in a center and you can use him in a wing because of his size. Just the card in general, with his size, having an 87 speed is something phenomenal. So this is probably the only card from All-Star event I actually would like to pull because I have the biggest faith in Tage Thompson. Then we get Logan Thompson. As a goalie, he had 91 speed, he had 86 aggression, 88 rebound control, he had Sponge, and he had Butterfly and Light of Work. Again, pretty similar zone and superstar abilities as every other goalie. He is big, but I think, for example, if I would need to choose between Logan Thompson and Ilya Sorokin, I probably would go with Ilya Sorokin because I just think that Sorokin have more chances of being in a winning team than Logan Thompson. We have Matthew Tkachuk with Truculence, Unstoppable Force, and Close Quarters. If he had better speed, but again, like, he's 88 speed, so you can get him up quite good. He's big, and he had Truculence, Unstoppable Force, and Close Quarters. Probably the three most OP zone and superstar abilities this year. I think the card in general looks quite good. Like, don't think he will go up a lot, but he's 100% like a valuable 4-liner or 3rd-liner. Then we have Brady Tkachuk. We had Distributor, we have Buzzing, Born Leader, Close Quarters, Truculence. Whenever I see a card with Truculence and with Brady Tkachuk's size, this guy is just a tank on the ice. You can get him up to the 88 speed. even doesn't matter how he performs, this card is already very valuable. If you put him probably on the second line, actually I would say with his attributes and his superstar abilities, this card would be so fun to use. Then we have Andrei Vasilevsky. Size, I think he's one of the biggest goalies in the league. Also, he had gold post to post, he had butterfly, and he had light worth. He had 86 speed, and that's the only thing why I'm concerned about using this card. He had 72 aggression and he had 89 rebound control. Everything outside of speed is good, but like the speed is concerning because how much the goalie needs to move. I really want the fastest goalie I can possibly get in my net. But Vasilevsky have a good chance of being in a winning team and going up by 4. So that speed may go up quite a lot. Again, who knows until it happens, but other than that, I think this is a really good alternative goalie to try. And then I think the best goalie we have in this event is Linus Ullmark. First of all, he's big. He's 88 speed, he had 68 aggression and 87 rebound control. He had gold post to post, he had no timer and butterfly effect. I did bought the card for 120k. I know, don't ever do that because it's waste of coins. I just wanted to try him out, and I played 2 games already with him online, and he's letting in around 1 goal only for me, at least at the moment. In general, I think the card is very good. He had good chances of going up, so let's see, because Ullmark's card so far this year is quite good, so hopefully this card goes up and I can keep him in a net and Shesterkin can be my backup for the rest of the year, because who don't like a team of the year backup for the rest of the year. Last thing I forget to mention, when you go back to the sets on our NHL All-Star Weekend set, so if you open it, you can trade in 30 collectibles for a choice of All-Star card. You only have to choose between 2 cards, so it's really not worth it in my opinion. It's easier to go and buy it instead of actually choosing the cards. Also, it's like you don't really know who you're gonna pull and you might get the worst card in that division. I would guys not suggest you doing it. Hey guys, thanks for watching the video. Let me know down in the comment section below what do you think about All-Star event. Are you making any of the MSPs or did you pull any of the All-Star cards? And I hope you enjoyed. Have a good one. See you on the ice.